Could I please invite you to take your seats? We're about to commence. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. My name is Andrew Beer and I'm the Master of Ceremonies today. I begin with some housekeeping issues. Firstly, I draw your attention to the emergency exits, which are clearly signposted with lights upwards and below, and of course, if they're needed, follow the directions of those who are authorised to give those directions. Toilets, of course, are to be found out that corridor and then along and basically behind this lecture theatre. And I would invite everyone to either turn off their phone or to turn it to silent, please. It is wonderful to have you here. We acknowledge that the University of South Australia is in the traditional country of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains, and we recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship with the land, and we acknowledge that they are of continuing importance to the Kaurna people living today. Welcome to this opening ceremony of the Southern Hemisphere Space Studies program for 2025. My name is Professor Andrew Beer, and I am the Executive Dean, UniSA Business. I would like to especially welcome Elaine Magias of the Kaurna Narungga people, Matt Opie, Chief Executive of Defence SA, Distinguished Professor Marnie Hughes-Warrington AO, Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Standing Acting Vice-Chancellor, and Distinguished Professor, Chancellery and Council Services, UniSA, and Anna Kodri, Guktug Karalaj Orlo, and Ross Morris, this year's co-directors from ISU and UniSA, and Claudia Mihai Taiatu from the International Space University. The Honourable Peter Malinauskas, Premier of South Australia, is an apology for this event and sends best wishes. More than 500 students have graduated from the Southern Hemisphere Space Studies program, and this year we have 29 participants. So it is now my pleasure to introduce the class of 2025. In the tradition of the program, the participants will enter behind the flag of their country. To begin the procession, we welcome the participants from our host country of Australia. So I call upon Australia. Austria. Brazil. Colombia. India. Italy. Japan. Malaysia. Switzerland. Thailand. United States of America. Please join me in welcoming the Southern Hemisphere Space Studies Program, Class of 2025. I would now like to welcome Elaine Maguias, Kaurna Narungga traditional owner, to the stage to perform a welcome to country. Elaine is a respected elder within her community and works tirelessly in supporting teachers in developing curriculum which is inclusive of Aboriginal perspectives. So it is fitting that she is here to welcome you all to what is an intercultural program. Elaine, over to you.
Thank you. Namani. For those that don't know what I just said, when we travel to another country, we learn a new language, especially a greeting. So here on Kaurna country is Namani, which is are you all good? But if I was speaking to one person, it would be Ninamani, which is are you good? Shall we try it? You can all say Ninamani to me. Thank you so much. Manina Budni, it's good that you came. I begin with paying my deepest respects and gratitude to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders, past and present. I acknowledge their commitment to ensuring that future generations receive a cultural inheritance of sacred traditions, language, knowledge, connection, that come from our ancient history of our peoples, for their determination that their cultural practices survive, that language is spoken freely, that language remains embedded in country, waterways and night skies, that environment and people remain connected through language. I accept the responsibility of my elders to honour. I accept the responsibility to honour my elders, to respect, learn and share culture. I accept my cultural inheritance with the same determination of my elders, that I too have responsibility to ensure a cultural inheritance for the following generations after me. I do this today by offering you a cultural welcome to country in language. I also pay my respects and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who are present today. Traditional Kaurna country begins at Crystal Brook, some 201 kilometres north of Adelaide. From there, heading down south, another 307 kilometres along the coast and out into the waters of Gulf St Vincent to Cape Jervis. From there, heading northeast, another 321 kilometres from there towards and along the Mount Lofty Ranges, returning to Crystal Brook. This is the traditional land of the Kaurna. And at the very heart of Kaurna country is Tandanyanga, place of the red kangaroo dreaming, significant place of gathering, conferences, ceremonies, marriage agreements and lawmaking. This place sits at the centre of the CBD of Adelaide and has been known by Europeans in the past as Victoria Square. This place still remains a significant meeting place of celebration and of mourning for Kaurna and some of our invited neighbours. Today, as we gather on the ancient traditional lands of the Kaurna, I recognise that there are ancient songlines that weave and guide our paths as we move across country, guiding us in the footsteps of our ancestors. And these songlines that have supported and sustained the single oldest surviving and practising culture in the world. In our night skies, we see, we hear, and understand the stories that connect skies, land, and people. 65,000 years, European science tells us, that we have been the original carers for country. But for me, I don't see or feel a connection to this data or my ancestors. A number so big it is unfathomable. It does not speak of the humanity of us as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. I acknowledge Aboriginal science data found deep in the ancient songlines, the ageless rock art depicting stories beyond the Ice Age, the unchanged stories of creation, the stories that guide so many aspects of life, relationship and connection. I look at how long my family, my community, have walked on and valued this country. For me, 65,000 years translate to something much more significant and deeply personal. It is the history of my family. My grandmothers and grandfathers have cared for and walked across this country for 2,600 generations. Welcome to the traditional lands of the Kaurna people. Marwachanga Kaurna miuna, na wangani mani na budni Kaurna yatana, na cha yungana dalya, na cha yukana dalya, pudni adlu wadu. On behalf of the Kaurna people, I welcome you all to Kaurna country. My brothers, my sisters, let's walk together in unity. Nachalia, thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine, and I do acknowledge that you do need to move on to another engagement fairly soon. I'm now pleased to welcome Mr. Matt Opie, Chief Executive of Defence SA. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Auntie Elaine, for that very warm welcome. I'd like to acknowledge that we do meet on the lands of the Kaurna people, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, our nation's first astronomers and present. Hello to you all, most especially the students. Welcome to South Australia, to this fantastic Southern Hemisphere Space Studies program, delivered in conjunction between the International Space University and the University of South Australia, and with very strong support from the South Australian Government. In my role as Chief Executive of Defence SA, I'm also Chief Executive of the South Australian Space Industry Centre. This program is world-renowned for producing stellar graduates and delivering quality education in space. Some of those graduates in the room today. Our own Dr. Catherine Grace is Director of the South Australian Space Industry Centre and is a graduate of SHSSP And Enrico Palermo is a graduate of the International Space University. Enrico is the Chief Executive of the Australian Space Agency, based here in Adelaide. I mentioned SASIC, the South Australian Space Industry Centre. It was established in 2017 by the South Australian Government. We were the first Australian government to establish a state-based space centre. Concurrent with that, we were the first state to establish an Australian state space industry strategy. One of the fundamental tenets of that strategy was strong support of workforce and skills in the space sector. That strategy has led us to deliver several scholarships so many of you can do this course. So I hope you enjoy it, and of course welcome to our international colleagues. So we are the space state. This stretches back to the 1950s when we first launched rockets and missiles from the Woomera test range about 1,000 kilometres to our north. Woomera is a strategic international asset. It is one of the largest rocket and missile test ranges in the world. I noticed that we don't have a Brit on today's course. If we did, I would point out that our Woomera test range is bigger than England. I noticed we have an American visitor. For context, it's bigger than Pennsylvania. So by good luck and the nature of our geography, we have an international strategic asset right here in our backyard on the edge of the desert. Back from those first firings of Woomera through to today's ecosystem. South Australia is home to the Australian Space Agency, Mission Control, Space Discovery Centre, SmartSat Cooperative Research Centre, and its Chief Executive, Andy Cronius, is here today, and many other space-based capabilities, hundreds of space companies, this world-class university and two other world-class universities conducting research and development into space technologies. Other aspects of the plan that we developed in 2017 included collaboration, and for that reason today we engaged with the likes of NASA, JAXA, ESA and many other countries in the space realm. A tenet of that strategy was innovation, and for that reason South Australian Government has established the Space Collaborative Innovation Fund, investing $300,000 per annum to enable local companies to collaborate with global stakeholders in the interests of space research. We're also investing $20 million in the development of a space industry assembly, integration and test common user facility. Don't worry, we're working on the name, aimed at collaboration, in laboratory collaboration between space sector stakeholders. So we have the infrastructure, we have the industry base, we have the universities and the research to develop what has become the space state of Australia. We've got more than 100 upstream and downstream space companies. For example, Southern Launch has just received federal government approval to develop a polar orbit launch site on Eyre Peninsula pointing towards the Southern Ocean to enable polar and sun synchronous orbits, and a neighbouring facility at Caniba, also on the Eyre Peninsula, that's focused on launch, test and recovery. Lloyd Damp and Southern Launch already have companies from some of your countries, including the US, India, Germany, Japan, Canada, already lined up wanting to use both of those facilities. We have Fleet Space Technologies, who have recently won $150 million in investment to develop their exosphere system, which combines seismic sensors, AI and a nanosat constellation to develop 3D geological maps up to 2.5 kilometres in depth to support mining exploration. We have Myriota, an IoT company which transmits data from sensors to a constellation of LEO nanosats to deliver Internet of Things technology without the need for ground-based infrastructure. They've just won $50 million of investment to develop their system and constellation. So you can see we've got the right companies to attract investment, and we are indeed a good place to do business. We have the geography. Okay, that was maybe good luck through Eyre Peninsula and Woomera. We have the companies, the rest has been hard work. We have the companies, we have the infrastructure, we have the research and development ecosystem that justifies our label as the space state. So you're very welcome here. What makes it the space state is the ecosystem that glues all of those factors together. I want to welcome you to South Australia. I hope this is not your last visit. We want you back here when you're building and launching satellites, when you're running space companies, and when you're doing space research. I'd like to thank the International Space University. I'd like to thank the University of South Australia, and noting my very good colleague, Distinguished Professor Marnie Hughes-Warrington is next on the agenda, I'd like to thank Marnie for her leadership and mentorship in the sector over the years. Thank you.
Many thanks for those insights, Matt. It's now my pleasure to invite Distinguished Professor Marnie Hughes-Warrington, AO, Provost and Chief Academic Officer, University of South Australia. Thank you very much, Marnie.
Nina Mani, Elaine, thank you so much for your beautiful welcome to country and your generous teaching. It's just such a big reminder to us, there's deep space, but there's deep time. And if we understand the connections that we have with one another across those two things, we can do remarkable things. So thank you for your teaching. I also want to acknowledge all the friends around the room here. This is the 13th study program, but this is the 4th one that I've opened, and so I feel like I'm in the company of lots of good friends as well as some new students to meet today. And fortunately for you, you will not be tested on my name or my title. Okay, you've got a lot of speakers today, mine's really long. Just Marnie, actually, is my name, which I feel very fortunate in Ghana country to have that beautiful name. I want to acknowledge some really great friends here. So over the 13 years we've been running this amazing program, just imagine that. You've got Miriota has spun out and it's just raised another $50 million. You've got SmartSat that's been created, and Andy, it's so good to see you here, generating that next generation of satellites, but including cybersecurity, the AI that powers those satellites to communicate with one another, and also how it is we do Earth to satellite communications really effectively, and in a really unstable and interesting world to do that. So thank you for being here. iLaunch has also been created, $180 million, UniSA is part of that too. Really fantastic work, particularly around satellite construction, and SmartSat's been a big supporter and partner in that. Venture Catalyst Space, so we've got spin-outs, space spin-outs. I used to be the DVCR, and I've got space spin-outs in my portfolio, and people go, whoa, that is so cool. And it is that cool. It's really, really cool. But the thing is, all those things that I've just named are things that are in the past. It's everything that's coming that's just as exciting in space. And when I look at you, you're everything that's coming, as well as building on that really proud tradition. You all come here and you bring your knowledge and your experiences from around the world, and that's going to make it a truly exceptional experience, not just for you, but for the people that are tutoring you and the people that are teaching you. And Anna, very warm welcome, your first visit to Australia. We're very pleased that you're here to join us today. I want to acknowledge the ISU. I also want to acknowledge the state government. Matt, thank you for everything the state government does to support this as the space state in Australia, but also all of the people that sponsor scholarships that have made it possible for many of you to be here today. We acknowledge that investment in the future, and in my world, that investment always pays off. It pays off in talent, because you can have the technology, you can have the big rocket launch space, but unless you've got the talent to put it all together, it's not going to come together. And it's going to be exciting for you. I've sat in a couple of classes over the past 4 years, and if a philosopher can do it, you can do it. So let me just give you some confidence there. This year, the topic is how search and rescue and emergencies can be managed in space. What a great topic. That's an absolutely fantastic topic, and one that will really encourage you, as we've always done, to work across disciplinary lines, to recognise the talents that everybody's bringing here from the 12 different countries you're all from, but all the experiences you've had in your work and as students as well. It's a space where we hope that you feel that you can bring your talents, learn from other people and see what's possible for you, but see what's possible for space in South Australia, see what's possible for space in Australia and of course beyond, because space doesn't do boundaries. Space does cooperation. It's a sector that's inspiring for all of us. If we had more of that spirit of cooperation across the world, gee whiz, how amazing we truly would be. So thank you for bringing your talents to here, to us. Thank you in particular to all our esteemed colleagues that have joined us from NASA, from the Space Agency, from SmartSat, from SASIC, my colleagues in UniSA from the Enterprise Hub, from the state, and of course from the Ghana Elders. Have a great time, and apologies if you don't see me later. I have just got my voice back. So I'm not going to jinx it by keeping talking. I'm going to go home and have a quiet evening, but I couldn't miss this. Not for the world, not for the moon, not for the whole universe. Thank you.
Many thanks, Marnie. It's now my very considerable pleasure to introduce Anna Caudry, NASA Director of Space Studies Programs at the International Space University. Anna, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. It is a privilege to be here tonight. As Marnie said, my first time in Australia, not just Adelaide, but the entire country, alongside esteemed colleagues and partners in support of our students. As we already heard from some of these speakers, the value of intercultural, interdisciplinary, and international cooperation in space exploration is undeniable. I would like to take a moment to expand on those points and highlight why these partnerships are crucial, not just for this future of the space sector, but for our broader industries and economies. Space is a shared frontier, one that requires collaboration on a scale we have never seen before. Intercultural collaboration is essential to tackling the complex challenges we face. It is not just about working together, it is about learning from one another. When people from different cultures and backgrounds come together, we find new ways of thinking, creative solutions, and ultimately a stronger global approach to exploration. Similarly, the interdisciplinary nature of space exploration cannot be overstated. In order to succeed, we need more than just rocket scientists. We need experts in fields like artificial intelligence, sustainable energy, healthcare, and data analytics. It is this diverse range of skills and knowledge that will help us meet the challenges of living and working in space while also driving innovation that impacts industries here on Earth. But perhaps, and most importantly, international collaboration toward a common goal is a cornerstone of progress. These partnerships will only become more critical, whether building sustainable infrastructure on the moon or expanding our presence on Mars. As ISU looks ahead in this space studies program with the new Adelaide University, it is clear that together we have the chance to shape not only the path of space exploration, but also the future of innovation itself.
Many thanks, Anna. We now turn to a video message from Professor Lan Snell, my colleague and Director of the MBA and Dean of Programs Postgraduate at UniSA Business. If we could run the video, please.
Hello, my name is Lan Snell. I'm the Dean of Programs for the Postgraduate Portfolio here at UniSA Business School. I'm so sorry I'm not able to be with you for the opening of the SHSSP. I'm currently in London on other university business, but we'll be back in time to celebrate the closing ceremony with you. Welcome to UniSA and the SHSSP program. We're delighted to welcome a group of diverse participants, from undergraduate students through to experienced professionals from Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, India, Colombia, Switzerland, Italy, Austria, the US, as well as some fellow Australians. UniSA is proud to partner with the International Space University in presenting this program. The SHSSP is well established, and the first offering was, I think, in 2011. During the next 4 weeks, you'll be in the hands of global experts who will take you through a range of topics, including satellite applications, engineering, science, human performance in space, policy, economics and law, humanities, and my favourite, management and business. We'll also be showcasing our latest research as we take you through some current projects, as well as signalling our future directions as we transition to the new Adelaide University in 2026. I know the team have been working incredibly hard to organise this, I think, amazing program for you, which includes a sellout astronaut female panel featuring Australia's first fully qualified female astronaut, Catherine Bennell-Pegg, and South Korea's first astronaut, Soo-Ying Yi. This program would not have been possible without the support of our generous space community. I wanted to particularly thank the following scholarship providers. SA Defence. Now, I know that the CEO of SA Defence, Matt Opie, and colleagues including Dr. Catherine Grace are there with you today. I wanted to thank you so much for your support and generosity in supporting this program and providing the SASIC scholarships. The Andy Thomas Space Foundation. Now, we've been working very closely with the chair of the foundation, which is Michael Davis, a long-time supporter of the SHSSP, UniSA and ISU, and a self-proclaimed space tragic. Thank you so much, Michael. The overall standard of applications, I think we would all agree, for the scholarships has been outstanding. And I think it's worth congratulating again Lucian Proctor, who is the 2025 recipient of the Andy Thomas Space Foundation Scholarship. Well done, Lucian. I wanted to acknowledge SmartSAC SRC, which is a consortium of universities and other research organisations partnered with industry that has been funded by the Australian Government to develop know-how and technologies in advanced telecommunications and IoT connectivity, intelligent satellite systems, and Earth observation next-generation data services. Thank you so much for your support. And last but not least, I want to thank the following agencies for their support, including the Asia-Pacific Space Community Council, the Indian Space Research Organisation, and the Australian Space Agency, led by Enrico Palermo, who is also alum of the SHSSP. Thank you so much to all our scholarship and sponsorship providers. Now, I'm confident that we've done our very best to present you with an exceptional learning experience. We know that we've got an outstanding cohort. The rest is simply up to you to realise the learning because of the potential and importance of space to us as humans and to our planet. Welcome to the SHSSP 2025. Have a great time, and I can't wait to meet you at the closing ceremony. Thank you.
And we also have a video address by Dr. John Wensveen, ISU President. If we could run that now, thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Southern Hemisphere Space Studies Program, SHSSP 2025. And if you're in the world of space, or about to be, you will realize that everything is an acronym. So welcome again to the SHSSP 25. A huge congratulations for making the decision to pursue this program. Now you are part of the ISU family. We have a global network of more than 6,000 alumni worldwide, covering almost every industry vertical you can imagine that is space related and indirectly related to space. And if you're really paying attention, Every company can be a space company, and there's never been a better time to look at the new space economy. I would love to thank the University of South Australia for their continued partnership over the years to make the SHSSP program a success, and we truly look forward to future collaboration as we look at the new trends and challenges and opportunities while we develop strategies to support the new space economy, particularly around new skills, upskilling, and reskilling. This is an amazing career trajectory decision for you in terms of where you can take your career track. And as I previously mentioned, we have leaders at all levels throughout the space economy worldwide, including the leaders of space agencies, as an example, and astronauts that have gone to space and come back successfully, and several that have gone repeatedly and come back successfully. You're an amazing world. It's a small world, and I come from the world of aviation and aerospace, which is also small, but space is even smaller. So pay attention to those sitting next to you, ahead of you, to your right, to your left, behind you, because these are the people that you're going to work with for the rest of your career. You're going to support each other. You're going to deal with each other's challenges. You're going to create new strategies together, and you are the future of space. ISU is going through this amazing transformation at the moment with the creation of a new strategic plan, the first one done in several decades, called the Moonshot 2030. We've always taken the perspective that the future is here, and now the future is here now. And we are looking at new ways of creating new strategies to support the new space economy, looking at the commercial sector, i.e. the private sector. And when ISU was founded, it was originally created to support the public sector. And with the trends that have been occurring over the last decade, and particularly the last 5 years, it's the privatization of space that's truly taking the lead with the support of the public sector. So please be on the lookout for new programs and new curriculum that does get incorporated into all of our academic and professional development programs. Over the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see substantial changes in our programming model that are more focused on innovation, emerging technologies, entrepreneurship, and intrapreneurship. And the reason that we're looking at these themes are because these are what the hottest themes are in the future of the new space economy. Creating new space companies, pivoting companies to support the space sector, taking established organizations like government agencies, an example, and growing them from within are all extremely important. And this is probably the best and most opportune time for anybody to pursue any type of program and credential related to space. Again, I would like to congratulate you. Welcome to ISU and to the University of South Australia family. We're here as a support mechanism, and we cannot wait to introduce you to our global network for all of the success that you plan to achieve. We're here for you, and again, on behalf of ISU, thank you for participating in this program.
Our thanks, of course, go to John. That does bring the presentations to a close. And I now ask for a quick photo of our speakers. And would I ask, Anna, can I invite you to join me at the front for that photo before I bring us to towards a close with the thank yous. So if the speakers could come up, please. At least those in real life.
In analogue.
In analogue.
Those in analogue.
I think real life is more positive. Thank you very much.
Lift off. Lift off.
Lift off.
Lift off.
Well done. And very quickly. I now have several thank yous. First, and perhaps most importantly, thank you to our program staff, the participants and our many friends and supporters of this program. The program would not be possible without support of many groups and organisations. In particular, scholarships are a critical component of graduate education, and we are fortunate to have a number of generous benefactors. We would like to thank those shown here on the presentation. The scholarship providers, the South Australian Space Industry Centre within Defence SA, the Andy Thomas Space Foundation, SmartSat CRC, Asia Pacific Space Community Council, Indian Space Research Organisation, and the Australian Space Agency. Our thanks also go to the program event sponsor, the Australian Space Agency. And we also thank other organisations who supported participants to be part of this program. I I would also like to acknowledge the dedicated and hard-working staff who work behind the scenes that ensure the program runs smoothly, including the team of staff based at UniSA City West campus, ISU staff based in Strasbourg, France, and teaching assistants involved in the program in all its forms. We also acknowledge the support of the Hawke Centre making the venues for this evening available to us. So it's with considerable pride and pleasure I now declare the Southern Hemisphere Space Studies program open for 2025. It's an achievement. So this concludes the formalities today, and it's time for the rocket science to begin. Please join us for refreshments in the Bradley Forum, located on the 5th floor of this building. You will need to exit this room and go to the front of the building towards North Terrace to get the lifts or the stairs, and there are signs to guide you on that way. And finally, with the class of 2025, please join me in front of the lectern for a photo, followed by a photo of students and support staff. Thank you very much.